This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
This table is really tilted.
Excuse me? Am I gonna get a chance to speak?
Maybe I should take that back.
Denied. Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Take a giant step for mankind.
Welcome to the Tilted Table, with your hosts, Sean and Joe.
All right, folks, welcome to another episode of The Tilted Table, the internet's answer to a question that no one asked. I am Sean Kabibi.
And I am Joey Joe, the Fracky Mac.
And today we are going to talk about odd food pairings or unusual food pairings that are awesome.
Well, things that I don't think you sound good that would go together, but when you try it, you're like, yes, my life is now complete.
Yeah, this is totally Joe's idea, so.
It is, and I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, before we even start, my first thought when this was brought up as a potential topic is how much of a foodie I'm not. Like, I don't eat like... I'm pretty basic when I eat. I'm not a big food guy. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting for me to have to, figure out like what's an odd pairing that I think is, awesome tasting.
Well, and it's funny because growing up, we were talking about this a little bit earlier is, food was not real. It was more for sustenance in our family. It wasn't entertainment or creativity or artwork or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
I would say similar with me.
Yeah, so it wasn't until Cookie and I met and she introduced me to the world of cuisine, and she being an amazing chef herself, that my horizons got expanded immensely. Mm-hmm. And then it started just she'd be like, hey, try this, and here, try that. And then over the years I've come up with kind of a short hit list of things that are like, that's not something that I would have put together, but yeah, that is completed my life.
Okay.
And an example is, we for years we've been big champagne and wine people.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I ever shared with you this, but a couple of years ago I completed the Masters in Champagne course with the French Wine Society. Mm-hmm. So it was I guess that it was. I knew that I needed to tone down my drinking when the French Wine Society sent me the entrance exam, and I just took it on a whim. And I only say this for context. I scored a 98% without even studying or cracking a book. And then in that moment, I decided I drank way too much.
Damn.
So one of my epic wine champagne pairings is like a Thriller bottle of champagne and chicken nuggets from McDonald's. Oh, it's fantastic. It's like that salty, crunchy greasiness of the chicken nugget with the saline acidity and bite and effervescence of the champagne. I mean, I feel like almost like a Fat Albert or Jabba the Hutt type character that I'm just like dropping nuggets in my mouth. And then gargling afterwards with champagne. Of course I don't do that all the time, but in terms of like epic food pairings, definitely put that on your list.
Okay.
Interesting. Like a bottle of Ruinart Blanc and some chicken nuggets, like a 20 piece.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I think that would even get RFK would even approve of that.
Of course he would.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My experience with food is probably a little bit like yours. Growing up, it was mostly just you eat to live. You don't live to eat. We rarely went out to dinner. We were pretty broke. So I don't think, there were nights where we would, have something, special or whatever. But generally speaking, most of the food was pretty straightforward and basic. Come from an Italian family, so it's like a lot of pasta, right?
Spam?
Yeah. No, not Spam. I remember my mom did buy that once, and I couldn't stand it. I think she was putting it in eggs. She was like, well, that's good with eggs. But I remember just being really salty, disgusting. So whatever. And first of all, anything that is, there's an actual meat called ham. Any product that is like got a spin-off name that's not quite the same name, you should stay away from anything that's got like a similar name, but it isn't the same. It's same name. It's like Velveeta.
I was literally just gonna say
like cheese substance. What the fuck is that?
I was gonna say it's like investing in a giant block of Velveeta. Not quite sure what that is.
Right? Yeah, they don't call it cheese. I have to look at the package, but I don't think. I think it says cheese, like cheese-like. It's fancier than that. They're not gonna say cheese-like substance. It would be something that they can't call it cheese because it isn't.
It's like a quasi-dairy byproduct.
You know what? It's like Breyer's ice cream, I think. You know, the one that you could set out and it doesn't melt for like 2 years.
So gross. So gross.
So whatever Velveeta is. But the point being is that, I didn't have a lot of that experience growing up. And my first real experience with food, I think, was when I was living in San Francisco. At this point, I was actually making at least a quasi-decent living. And there's a lot of kooky and crazy restaurants in the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. And I went to the Stinking Rose because everybody was raving about the Stinking Rose. It was a super popular restaurant.
Yeah, I went there once upon a time.
And it had garlic ice cream, right? And I'm like, well, that's just got to be disgusting. And it's not. But I get it, right? So was my first experience in San Francisco with a lot of different kind of restaurants and unique things. So that's where I'm coming from. Now, again, I'm not a big foodie even to this day. I'm still pretty basic. I meal plan. I go to the gym. I'm real particular about what I eat. Because especially as I age, I don't want to get, unhealthy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would say, let's just throw in a caveat. The point of this exercise is more entertaining, like a Ripley's Believe It or Not type of deal. Yeah. We're not giving any kind of culinary or dietary advice.
Well, no, and I wasn't saying that because of that. Just that my experience, I think, is at least a little bit more limited than somebody who does partake in a lot of restaurant visits or going out and eating unique and new things. But I'll tell you one that I'm familiar with is grilled cheese and applesauce.
What?
It's a thing.
For who?
For people like this. I've had it, and I'm not a big fan of applesauce. I'm not a big fan of apple in general. The flavor is not like something I really crave. I don't dislike it. It's just not something I run to. And I had a bite of this, and it wasn't bad.
So you get a grilled cheese, and then you dip it in applesauce, and then you eat it.
Yeah. Or if you want to get fancy, you take one of those little fancy spoons and you scoop up the applesauce and you just drizzle it on corner for each bite.
So weird.
That's the thing, yeah. I didn't think it was bad, but here's the thing. Again, I don't dislike applesauce, and I do really like grilled cheese. So the part of it could be that it would really be hard to fuck up a grilled cheese in my eyes. I mean, you really have to put something on it that's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, speaking of grilled cheese and other disgusting things, like if you see a pack of Kraft singles just sitting around, like that's so gross. It's like wrapping a bar of soap in plastic kind of a thing. However, when it comes to an amazing simple grilled cheese, Kraft singles, man, that is money. That is money.
But just a single by itself?
Yeah, just like you take it out of that little plastic wrapper thing, and maybe throw an extra one on there. So it kind of like you hold it up and the single it kind of wiggles in the air.
Well, there's definitely a time in my life as a child where Kraft singles, that was like a thing because they were individually wrapped. For some reason that seemed to attract me in particular, but I think a lot of kids. It was like what is it? It's the string cheese. Like people liked it because of the way it you can when you just peel it apart, but it was like probably was part of the experience.
Right.
I think the wrapped Kraft singles kind of a part of the experience because you could have a block of really nice cheese in your fridge, but that's just a block cheese. I got to get a knife. I got to cut. It's in its own wrapper.
Yeah.
And what is it? So it's American cheese.
Allegedly.
Well, that's the thing is like, what is that? Is that just a fancy way of saying that it's not real cheese?
It's probably some like super weird dyes, like orange dye number 17. Okay, so one of the funny things that my grandma used to make, and the first time she made it, I was like, oh, that just looks disgusting. But it was she really liked making tuna melts.
Okay.
But one of the things that she would do is she'd get like a bag of Lay's potato chips, and then she would crush up, not like into a powder, but just kind of like chunky Lay's potato chips, and she'd put it in the tuna melt and then put the other piece of bread on top of it, and then she would eat it like that. And I remember the first time she did that, I was like, it's just so weird. And then she made one for me, and I took a bite, and like that, the temperature differences and the textural differences, and the kind of like that salty crunch with the fish. I thought it was delightful. So in terms of like thinking you'd put Lay's potato chips in, Star-Kissed tuna, it sounds disgusting, but yeah, give it a whirl.
I can see that being good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's odd. I could tell you that I heard people talk about, this was the offshoot of the Elvis, the peanut butter and banana sandwiches,
yeah, gross.
right?
Gross.
This was peanut butter and tuna. Now somebody swore by this. Look, I've never eaten it.
Wait, who is this somebody?
This is something that was on social media.
Oh.
So there was a number of people talking about it. Could have been a prank for all I know. Enough people back it up, and they're like, "Oh, you should try it." And then it's a big troll, right? Get everybody to eat it and get disgusted.
See, that somebody's in therapy is what they are.
So I can't imagine that that's good. But I did see that. I'll tell you something that I stumbled across, kind of on accident, and it was when I was in college, and I didn't have a lot of money, meaning I didn't have a lot of food in my fridge. Most of my college, I literally had like pasta sauce. I had some pasta, like mustard. I had some condiments like
ragu.
Yeah, basically, right. And then I had like pickles. And so one night I ordered a pizza, and it was a pepperoni pizza, right? So it's straight pepperoni. And I ate like 2 or 3 slices of it, and put it in the fridge or whatever, right? And for whatever reason, over the span of about 24 hours, maybe a little bit, maybe 48 hours, 2 days, I didn't really eat the pizza, but I would open the fridge and I'd pull the damn pepperonis off of them just because I wanted something real quick, right? So coming home from school or work or whatever, I'm like, oh, I got to eat. And I pull out what's left over of this pie, and 70% of the pepperonis are gone. So now it's just like a cheese pizza. And I'm like, So in my fridge, I had a number of things. And one of the things I had was a jar of pickle slices. So I said, oh, you know what? I'll put pickle slices on it. I like pickle. I love pickles. It can't be bad. It's cheese and bread, right? And that was delicious.
Seriously?
It was.
What?
Dill pickle slices on a cheese pizza, man.
Did you you put the dill pickle slices on after it was cooked?
Both. So I would warm up the slice, put cold ones on there, and then I tried it the other way. They were both good, but the cold was way better.
Okay.
Yeah. A little crispier crunch on the dill.
You had successfully completed the assignment with this one in terms of weird foods.
Come on, that's not that off. Is it?
That's pretty strange, man. It's one of those things. If I were the one that was opening that refrigerator and had the exact same scenario, like I would never put those two things together.
Oh, I mean, when I was in college, I did stuff like this with some frequency. I would see what I had and see if I could make something happen. Again, I had a lot of pasta, so if I didn't have sauce, what were you going to put on it? Like, I have a jar of mustard. Can you put mustard inside? So I really like mustard, and you can mix them. It's not particularly good, but it does taste better than just raw pasta, right? But it's a little bit. Do you understand that, like, the power of mustard? It's pretty potent.
Oh,
right? For
sure. Do you ever make sandwiches with those packets of Chinese hot mustard?
No. But I did. I got into this weird mode where I was eating top ramen. Again, when I was in college, I was fucking flat. My money paid my rent. Like, my entire check went to my rent. I was barely scraping by. And I would buy a lot of top ramen. And the issue I had with top ramen was it's just soup when it comes down to it, with noodles in it. And I think one time I said, well, what if I just took the noodles, drained the water, and then just sprinkled some of the salt pack on it? And again, this is like very similar to the mustard. You can't put the entire, it's too salty, but the right amount of that, and you can mix it up, and it was fairly flavorful, little pasta dish, and it's not soup.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. The first time Cookie made one of these appetizer dishes, I just visually looked at it. I'm like, ugh. And she's like, no, you have to give this a fair shake. And I don't know. I have this thing against dried fruit. I just think it looks gross. It feels gross.
Okay. I'm not against dried fruit. We've had this conversation. I'm not a big fan of fruit to begin with, but dried fruit I'm kind of okay with.
Yeah. So anyway, it's dried apricots.
Yeah.
With a chunk of gorgonzola or blue cheese on it.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
And like a little drizzle of honey or even like a slice of prosciutto with it.
No.
Oh man, it's like in my mind, blue cheese gorgonzola, like some like really pungent type stuff. And more like the saltiness of prosciutto with the honey. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's delightful. Mm. I have to actually meter myself because I know that dinner's coming and I can't clear the deck whenever she makes those. Because it's funny, like even times like when, say you come over for dinner and we're sitting there, I literally will like count the number of these items that are sitting in the middle of the table to make sure that I'm fair, I'm a good host, and that I'm not being a glutton before Cookie actually serves dinner.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, again, I'm not a dried fruit person except when it comes to this one thing. I'm all about it.
Yeah, and I think I've seen similar kind of things with cheese and fruit. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I've seen charcuterie boards that have both, and I've seen that kind of thing where people put cheese like on an apple slice or something like that, and they'll fuck with it. I don't recall if I've ever done it. It does sound pretty good though.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Leave a like on the video. I know you're enjoying this. Can you shut up?
The internet's answer to a question that was never asked. The Tilted Table with Sean and Joe.
Okay, I have a question for you, and I'm really interested on how you're going to answer this.
Okay.
And I think one of us will commit heresy, and I think it'll be me. How do you feel about chicken and waffles?
I like chicken and waffles. I mean, I don't think it's anything special. I think it's more of a hype thing because of Roscoe's and all that shit. So when they do chicken and waffles, I think what people think is odd about it is it doesn't seem like a pairing in terms of like waffles and chicken, like one's dinner, one's breakfast, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that's mostly a social construct, right? You could eat anything at any time.
Right.
Why can't you eat chicken for breakfast? Why couldn't you eat waffles for dinner? I don't understand why it would be a big deal. I think the thing that many people, I think initially were kind of skeptical about was the idea that the syrup is going to go both directions. You're going to get syrup on your chicken and you eat your chicken with syrup, which I think in hindsight, when people first heard it, they probably were like, well, that seems weird or that sounds gross. Mm-hmm. But in hindsight, what we have learned is that there is a whole market of sweet and salty.
Sure.
So, you've got, fried chicken and you got syrup, you're going to get probably a decent combination of flavor that kind of are opposites, but they complement each other. I mean,
but does it? See, I'm on the other end of that spectrum, man. I think it's a culinary sin. I'll take it that far.
Well, look at my personal feeling about it is one, I don't like fried chicken. I never have. Mm-hmm. People love that fried skin. I think it's disgusting. I've always been that way. And so fried chicken to me isn't anything I want. So even when I buy like drumsticks, I strip the skins off of them. I can't stand the skin. I think it's gross. People love it though. So fried chicken, regardless of whether it's just fried chicken or it has syrup on it, is not something that is going to really draw me.
So do you flip the script and do like a chicken McNugget on top of an Eggo?
I've never done that. That doesn't sound too bad though, actually. Well, I will say, here's the next one I was going to give you. We can segue into my next one. Peanut butter and jelly, which is something I'm not a big fan of. I never cared for jelly a whole lot, even as a kid. Mm-hmm. So peanut butter and jelly sandwich is kind of the staple of your youth, right? Cheap, just, mom would make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and they're good to go. I didn't care for them until I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but instead of bread, it was waffles. That is fucking delicious.
Interesting.
And I will take that to the damn grave. Like if you even remotely like peanut butter and jelly, put it on 2 waffles and slam that shit together. It's like 1,000 times better than a regular peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
You should copyright that, man.
Well, I can't copyright that.
One of our 7 listeners out there is probably going to like start a restaurant based on these ideas.
Well, good.
Hi, Mom.
You can do that. You don't have to pay me. I want free peanut butter and jelly waffle sandwiches. life.
It's funny you mentioned the peanut butter and jelly thing. Since I was like a toddler, I thought that was disgusting. And even, my parents always had this rule of like, you have to try, and this is a good thing, you have to try everything at least once.
Yeah.
They kept trying to give me peanut butter and jelly like all through my childhood. It was just like, my instant gag reflex, even just watching the side with the peanut butter and the side of the bread with the jelly come together was visually disturbing to me. So that's where I stand on that one. I fully support where you're at with like the incorporating waffles instead of bread, but hard pass, man.
Oh, you got to try it, man. I mean, I guess if you really hate peanut butter and jelly, like you find it disgusting or whatever, you don't like the taste of it, I'm sure adding waffles to it isn't going to be the game changer. Like I said, I've never been a fan of jelly. I don't dislike it. It's just not something that I would normally go to.
It's like, when was the last time you ever even found yourself in the jelly aisle of the store?
Never. Well, I mean, the jelly aisle has stuff I might want. It doesn't have peanut butter. I like peanut butter.
Are you a smooth or chunky?
Typically chunky, but smooth is fine too. I stopped eating peanut butter about 3 years ago. I think part of it was it just, I don't know how healthy it is for you. And again, I'm real particular about what I eat.
Sure. But during that time, were you a Jif or a Skippy person?
No, it was, oh shit. I think it was called Adams. It was the natural. I would not buy if it wasn't the shit you have to mix.
Got it.
Yeah, it had to be the all natural peanut butter. I would never eat processed peanut butter. I'm a very anti-processed food.
That's good.
Yeah, so the Skippy or Jif, nah, I wouldn't fuck with that shit. It has to be if I have to mix it. That's the only way I'm eating peanut butter. I have to mix it.
Every once in a while, I'll get like almond butter, like the same thing, but I like chunky.
Okay. Yeah, I've never had any of those alternatives. I've thought about buying them before, but I'm kind of a cheapskate. And that shit's like expensive, like $15 a jar.
I just have your Visa card on file, so I just swipe that thing. So if you
you're talking about, you don't like paying for it. You are paying for it. You're using your card.
Exactly, man. Think of it as Visa points.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I got one for you that is absolutely awesome.
Okay.
It just came to me. I haven't had this in a while, and anybody that's listening, the two people that are, you should do this. Everyone should do this. Unless you hate Kit Kats and unless you hate cream cheese. Cream cheese and Kit Kat is absolutely fucking delicious.
Wait, what?
Cream cheese and Kit Kats. You can dip it or you can spread it on. It doesn't matter. It's fucking delicious. I'm not lying.
That is... Wait, how in the world what predicament did you find yourself in that this ended up being a thing?
A friend of mine told me about it.
Were you high?
Well, we might have been. It was a while ago. I don't think we were. Okay, so I don't eat candy. I rarely eat candy. And people always, well, a lot of my students, because kids they eat candy all the time. So they always offer me shit, right? And I always tell my kids, like, I don't eat candy. But for whatever reason, there's like 3 candies that I am actually like, I'll mad dog them if they're around me. Kit Kat is one of them.
What are the other 2?
Like a Nestle's Crunch, like any kind of crisp rice.
Those are solid. Yeah.
And Reese's Pieces, not the peanut butter, the Reese's Pieces, the M&M style.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'll fucking kill them. Those 3 right there, I'll kill them. Everything else, I can go without. And so anyways, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I was telling him, like, the only candy I really like is Kit Kats. And he's like, oh, well, that's cool. He goes, have you ever had it with cream cheese? And I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, dude, it's fucking amazing. I'm like, shut up. And it's a conversation you're having with a friend. It was something that was in passing, but it was maybe could have been a year later. I had Kit Kats, and I had cream cheese, and I'm like, oh, that's right. Let's see if it's actually really good.
Was it cold? Like both things? Were they in the fridge together?
Yeah, I keep my Kit Kats.
Oh, wait, you have a collection?
No, I'm saying like if I have Kit Kat, I'll have.
Oh, got it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, again, and I don't eat this type of stuff. So like, again, I could tell you right now, it's delicious, but I haven't done this in years, and that's not because oh well, it's not good. It's delicious. I don't eat shit like that.
Right.
I don't eat a lot of candy. To really try to stay away from eating candy. And cream cheese, I like cream cheese, but again, it's something that I don't particularly eat just because I don't think it's particularly healthy.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think that goes for both of us. Is where gentlemen of routine, and we definitely watch our intake.
We're both we're fairly healthy eaters, and we're both gym types.
Yes, agreed.
So, yeah.
Well, here's one for you. And actually, I got the idea from a book of the same title, and the book is called Burgers and Burgundy.
Okay.
And it's all about how to pair and build the best burger with the best bottle of red or white Burgundy. So that would be either Pinot or Chard. And I hit on something. And I don't eat fast food. I could even tell you the last time I had anything from fast food. But if you Carl's Jr.'s Bacon Western Cheeseburger and a screaming bottle of hopefully a Premier Cru or better red Burgundy. Oh, glorious. I think that's one of those things where you actually get to see a little bit of heaven when you do something like that.
Okay.
So burgers and Burgundy, man. Put that on your to-do list. I know you're not a wine guy. I'm sure you
hate wine.
I know.
I shouldn't say that's a stupid thing to say. I hate wine, but it's clear I don't like it that much because as big of a drinker as it can be, if the only booze in my house happens to be wine, I still probably go to the store and go buy some beer.
You'd rather be sober. You'll have Burgundy and water.
I can't remember the last time. I mean, the last time I had a glass of wine was probably with you when Cookie came over.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, and I mean, I had a glass because I think everybody was having a glass. I'm like, well, I better have a glass.
Yeah, I remember that day.
Yeah.
Well, I would say one of the best meals of my life. I'd probably put it in the top 20. We've been fortunate enough to travel the world, do the Michelin star thing. But man, sometimes it's just life at its simplest is the best. And that was that bacon Western cheeseburger and a screaming bottle of Burgundy.
I'm surprised that they have these sort of, pairing wines with hamburgers. Just seems like East meets West.
in a great way, though.
Right? It's like, what's the the best steak to go with a malt liquor?
Is that a book?
It should
be. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And one of the ones that this is like an absolute staple of any normal charcuterie board, but I'm not as like my number one food I will never eat in any format, flavor, just even the smell of it turns me off, is watermelon. But I totally get down with honeydew and cantaloupe, prosciutto and cantaloupe. Oh yeah, I can just make a meal of that by itself.
Yeah.
That going back to your comment on sweet and savory at the same time.
Yeah.
And the textural piece of that.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I think that cheese and fruits, sweets and fruits, I think they can, kind of work. I'm not a big fruit eater.
It's such a random thing though, right? Like who was the person? I mean, I guess you could say this about anything. Like, who's the first person that drank milk? Like, I'm going to look at a cow and say, I'm going to drink whatever's coming out of that, right? But
a lot of trial and error, I'm sure, way back in the day.
Or like this mushroom versus that mushroom. I'm either going to have a great meal, I'm going to see God, or I'm going to die. It's going to be one of those three things.
It is wild as much as people, and I'm going back thousands of years, that just didn't have any kind of knowledge of what was around them, what was going on. That edible mushrooms are actually found because most of the mushrooms, I think, are generally poisonous.
Right.
So somebody ate one and got sick or died, and still people said, like, well, maybe there's a different mushroom that'll work, and they just kept going.
Yep.
And then like a bunch of people died. I don't know how many people died, and it's like, okay, well, we've done 15, 20 rounds of mushroom eating. Everyone's getting sick or dying. Maybe you shouldn't eat those. Fucking just try one more, bro. Look at that one over there.
And
try it.
That person was mentally enlightened and was like, "Oh, clean the slate. This is a amazing thing."
Yeah, they finally found one that wasn't going to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you one that I have never tried, but it is a popular dish. And I talked about this on a previous podcast where I went to a chicken and waffles place that is kind of the rival to Roscoe's. It's called Hash House a Go-Go.
Okay.
And they're everywhere on the West Coast, I think. I mean, there's not that many of them, but there's one in Vegas, and it's the super famous one. And that's where I had the breakfast. It was the 24-ounce can of Budweiser.
Oh, yeah.
And bacon.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had something on the menu. It was peanut butter and jelly chicken wings. So way it was described on the menu was they cook it in peanut butter, and I guess after it cools a little bit, the peanut butter kind of hardens, and then they drizzle it with some sort of jelly. It's not actual jelly from a jar, but some kind of jelly squirt or whatever. And I remember asking the waitress, I'm like, this is a thing? And she's like, these are super popular. They're delicious. I never tried it, and I didn't do it, but...
Well, speaking of something that I haven't tried, it actually happened about 2 hours ago. We were at brunch with some friends, and the server was saying that they were really famous for their bacon. And we got like this whole commercial about like the thickness of the bacon, where it came from, who the importer was. So Cookie ordered it, and it came out, and it was like, it just looked awful. I mean, it was bacon, but it was covered in syrup. And it was like sprinkled in cinnamon and cayenne pepper.
Okay.
And just like I don't know, man. I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, hard pass. That commercial was great, but I will not be eating that. And sometimes, when a server comes to like clear the plates from a table, you want to be like also a good guest, right? And not like disrespect their food. I didn't care. I'm like, send that stuff back. You need to work on your presentation.
Yeah, I had a friend that swore by sweet potato fries dipped in marshmallow fluff.
What?
Yeah, she swore by it. So it's delicious. I've never had. I don't like sweet potato fries, so it wouldn't probably work for me.
Sweet potato fries in marshmallow fluff.
Yeah, that.
Oh, the jar.
Is that what it's called? I'm guessing
it's like that little jar thing.
Yeah, it comes in a jar.
Oh, that's so weird.
I mean, it makes sense. They're sweet potatoes and
I guess and
just marshmallow. I mean, marshmallow I guess has a flavor, but it just marshmallow is like cotton candy to me. It just tastes sweet.
Again, I go back to that earlier comment. Were they high? At what?
Well, no one of my friends. They probably were.
Say at what point does somebody say, you know what sounds like a great idea? X.
I'm assuming anybody that's tried this stuff, they didn't invent it. So they either experienced it somewhere or someone told them. Because I doubt if my friend was... First of all, who the fuck has sweet potato fries and marshmallow fluff in their fridge? Like, I'm like, oh, let's try it. There you go. I just don't end up buying it. So somebody intentionally, I guess, tried it or put it together.
Well, I hope it's been fun for everybody on our culinary adventures of the do's and a few do-nots. Yeah,
I think that ultimately at the end of the day, these things that are paired together that some people, swear by and other people would find disgusting. I mean, it comes down to personal taste. Although I think some of these things could be universally liked by most people. Not universally, not everybody's going to like it, but generally speaking across the board, Kit Kat and cream cheese is one of them. I'm telling you folks, you should do that.
And when in doubt, we take out a Kraft single and fling it against the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah, that's what we do at this podcast.
Pretty much.
I have an important announcement for you, so stay tuned.
Yo, that's some next level shit, bruh. So you got me. Big deal.
The internet's answer to a question no one asked. The Tilted Table with Sean and Joe.
Folks, thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Tilted Table, the internet's answer to a question that no one asked. I am Sean Kabibi.
And I am Joey Joe, the Fracky Mac.
And you can find us on all social media platforms at The Tilted Table 1.
Hit the bell, get the notifications, do the thing.
Yeah, and send us some emails, goddammit.
Yeah, it'd be great to have some more content to work with.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. All right, peace.
Bye.